Oh my gosh, it's already Thursday. Welcome to another episode on the Save Money and More with Jan channel. I'm Jan. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate every single one of you. Let's jump right into it. Part two. Part two, in case you missed part one, we're talking about 16 random tips and tricks that ultimately help save money. So if you have not seen it or listened to it, go back to part one if you're interested. All right, so let's go on to the second half. I'm going to call it number one again because it's easier, but we're on the second half of the 16. All right. So, number one, do not make promises that you cannot keep. Oftentimes, people make promises that they cannot keep. Now, it's not a good thing to do in general in life. It's dishonest, it's unfair, and many times actually costly. And what some people don't do just to save face, they're spending money they don't have. It's kind of like a lie to yourself. So stay away from that practice. I'm just saying, I suggest it strongly. Don't make promises you cannot keep. Isn't it better to be honest in the first place and just say, I can't do it? If you can't afford something at this moment in time, and always keep that in mind at this moment in time, just say now's not the greatest time, perhaps somewhere down the future. That's all. And just leave it at that. You don't have to get into anything further with the person that you're trying to decline politely. Next, write your priorities down and your tiny goals down for that day. I do that every single day. Every single day. I have my, as you know, my regular planning book, my scheduling book. I love those day planners. They're amazing. But I also keep a separate book, which I put my like small daily task in it. Now, you're probably saying, why don't you enter it into your planning book? Because usually the planning book is meant more for like specifically like business matters for this channel. But the other list I like to keep, let's say, has to do with, since I am the CFO of this place, just like you are, I like to write down those daily tasks on a separate notebook. And by the way, you don't need a fancy planner to do that. Just a separate notebook or a piece of paper, whatever you have will do. But I do find that writing down the priorities of the tasks at hand to get done are very, very helpful. So I just find it just makes it a lot easier. I know you will too. And also prevents me from overdoing something in one area when I need to pay attention to other areas as well. It just works. Next, if you are having a very tight budgeted month, who isn't these days? On a very tight budgeted month, make low ingredient meals. Like have a week where you decide like this is the week I'm just going to make 3 ingredient meals, like maybe 1 week out of the month. Believe it or not, that's very helpful. Even if you need 4 ingredients, that's still okay. But those 10 ingredient meals, well, if you could do it, God bless you. But a lot of us cannot. So make it a point to be creative. And I'll give you like examples, okay? For example, you could take 1 box of eggs, a dozen, for example. You can make 4 different meals. Number one, you can make, let's just say that we're using 3 eggs for each, okay? 4 different opportunities. You can make a quiche out of one. You can make a pizza omelet out of another. You can make deviled eggs out of the other, or if you prefer, chopped egg sandwich or an egg salad sandwich, or you could use for egg drop soup, and that is the easiest one of all. Especially if you get those box soup mixes, they go on sale often. Keep them in your pantry; they're very handy. And you follow the directions. You make them. It takes like 5 minutes. Then you could crack an egg into it, and then just stir it into it. And you got yourself egg drop soup. Make some toast or have some corn muffins on the side and maybe a vegetable, you are done. That is like the easiest meal ever. All right. The next thing to do is be really careful with so-called, notice, so-called. Watch out for so-called free trial offers. Be sure to read the bottom line first, because I remember a long time a certain company said, oh, you're going to get a free 30-day trial to use this specific app, okay? So I was like, oh, okay. Well, before the 30 days was up, I even marked my calendar 25 days to the 30 days. They already made the switch. And I contacted them. I said, no, 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 no. You're making a big mistake. And please, correct this, et cetera, et cetera. So you have to be very diligent about that. Keep your eyes open on that. They're counting on most people forgetting. They're counting on most people not writing it down, paying attention to it. All right, next, unplug yourself. What? unplug yourself from electronic devices and go for a walk or exercise or whatever it is. Even a short walk or a half hour on your exercise bicycle will do you a lot of good. It's just a great mental change. Costs you zero, but it pays you back in the future. Think about that on the short term and the long term. All right. Next, play soothing music. Block out the debris of the current mental clutter that is all over the place. We can't fix everything. We can't. We could pray for everything. Absolutely. Pray for everything. Pray for everyone. But we cannot fix everything. Us personally, it is just not possible. We just can't do it. So we can't worry about certain things or everything all the time. It's going to weigh us down. It's not good. So give yourself permission. Take a little time out of your busy day. Play soothing music and block out the mental clutter, the debris of these crazy times that we're living in. All of us we actually need that wonderful break. It'll recharge our own personal batteries, and then we could go out and just do better stuff. I'm just saying. All right, next. If at this moment in time you can't afford a pet, and many of us can't because you want to do the right thing, you want to have the money for the expenses. Pets cost money. This is reality. Okay, this is reality. Sometimes people intend to keep a pet, and then something comes up along the way. They have to end up bringing the pet to a shelter because they didn't realize that, well, you can't really afford at that moment. No, instead of that, be honest and don't do it. But you can always, sit down with a friend or a family member that owns a pet. Go visit them, hang out with their pet, borrow their pet, sit there and have fun, if you will. I'm just saying, and have that fun without the expense. It is so much fun for both the pet and for yourself as well. I think pets really offer a lot of sweetness and add sweetness to our lives. They really, really do. Next, be a blessing to someone else. Come outside of the box. Think outside of the box. What kind of help can you be to someone else? You'd be shocked and amazed. It doesn't have to cost you anything. I mean, it costs things in terms of maybe it costs a little bit of time. That's okay. You have the time. You want to be a blessing to someone else and keep a blessing box on the side for someone else. These are crazy times. I mean, crazier than usual, in my honest opinion. Okay. How many of you out there agree that it's not a bad idea to keep a separate box? If you're blessed with extra boxes of some sort of food, whatever, put one or two things on the side whenever you can. And before you know it, you'll be growing a blessing box for someone else. You might find out that a friend or a neighbor just lost their job. What a blessing to be able to go over to their house and say, listen, this is not charity. We're just thinking of you. That's all. We're just thinking of you. And that's it. Make it simple. Don't have the person feel like funny about it. Sometimes people don't like to accept things like that. But it's okay to keep things on the side and consider someone else. All right. I hope that these tips and tricks will help at least one person out there today. Of course, the goal is always to help at least one person. But wow, if I can help more than one person with these tips and tricks, then I know I did my job. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate everybody's time. Don't forget to click like, click like. Share, and what? Subscribe to the channel. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Take good care of yourself and your lovely family.